It's the Daily Dog.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Daily Doug. Thanks for being with me today as we start a brand new week on the channel. It is a Metal Monday today, and I am happy that you are joining me because we are returning to music from System of a Down. I am listening to this band for the fourth time on the channel. I started with BYOB, and I have since listened to Chop Suey and Aerials, both of those songs being from Toxicity, their second album released in 2001. And a lot of people have said that I need to get back to this album and specifically the title track, Toxicity. And that is what we are up to today, my friends. So, of course, I double-checked exactly what toxicity means, although I was pretty sure. Toxicity is the quality of being toxic or poisonous. And we use the word in this way to describe non-human things, like toxicity of a drug or the level of toxicity in contaminated water. The word is also applicable to human behavior, with the word referring to pervasive, harmful, and unpleasant actions. And so we've got this idea that can be dangerous in a chemical sense, dangerous in a physical sense, like radiation, and dangerous in a biological sense, like venom or just our actions, right, within a situation. So I am eager to see how Serge Tankian treats the idea of toxicity in his lyrics to this song. So let's get to it, y'all. Serge is on vocals and keyboards. He's also the lyricist. Darren Malakian is on the guitars and vocals. Shavo Adagian is on the bass. And John Dolmayan is on the drums. There is a popular video to this, friends, and I'm choosing not to use the video for this specific time because often these official videos elicit blocks on YouTube, and so I think I'm just going to be fine with the audio. It's the first time I've ever heard Toxicity, and I'm looking forward to it. So let's dive in, friends. Toxicity from System of a Down. Here we go. Minor third, back, C minor, up to E flat. Whoa! There's combinations of compound and duplicate meters in this, like the drums do in the 1 and the 2 and the 1 and 2. That's compound meter, right? Dot, 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 dot.
Conversion, software version 7.0.
Beautiful guitars.
Looking at life through the eyes of a tire hub.
Man, he's got an interesting vocal color, doesn't he? Cuts right through. Eating seeds is a pastime activity. The toxicity of our city. Great alliteration. High vocal. That was awesome. They're still doing rhythmic, competing ideas. Going back to this compound idea.
More wood for their fires, loud neighbors. Flashlight reveries caught in the headlights of a truck. Eating seeds.
They go back to this eating seeds as they watch, observe the toxicity of the city. Flat 6 to 5. Dang, heavy. Now fast, compound. Right? One in C. Disorder.
When I became the sun that shone life into the man's heart. When I became the sun that shone life into the man's heart.
What? What was that at the end? When I became the sun, I shone life into the man's hearts. What does that mean? What an intense tune, y'all. Woo! I think I got it, though. I think I got it. Wow, that was amazing. These guys are great. They really, really are. They've got such a unique style and character to their songs that even within the metal community, they have a uniqueness to their sound. I think it comes from Serge's vocals, but they've got a lot of rhythmic sensibility and nuance to their stuff that I think is really fantastic to hear in a metal tune. So what does that last line mean? I want to figure that out first. When I became the sun, I shone life into the man's hearts. When I became the sun. When I became is so future but past. So maybe man or humankind or people won't be open to a change of heart until the source of enlightenment, meaning the sun, maybe they won't be open to a change of heart until the source of enlightenment from the sun comes from the sun instead of another person. Maybe it's after he passes and the wisdom becomes, I don't know. I have no idea. But that's just what I was thinking of for that. I do think that the song works well as the title track for the album. I think it's taking a relatively general approach to the overall idea of toxicity. It could be coming from a variety of sources, right? Some of which they address in other songs on the album. Like I remember in Chop Suey, they were talking about addiction. And in Aerials, they were talking about the way that we identify ourselves, our self-identity. And maybe a lot of these other songs from the album sort of go into the specific nature of how things can be toxic in our life. And this one is just talking about it in general. I think there's references to toxicity within a person here, as well as toxicity within elements of society. Disorder could mean, when he says disorder, maybe that's a mental disorder. Maybe that's inside our brains, whether it's, something that we're struggling with like dementia or ADD or Alzheimer's or anything like that. That can interrupt the sacred silence, right? That can interrupt that sacred silence within our brains as well as interrupt our sleep. He says now somewhere between the sacred silence and sleep. Disorder. Maybe it's talking about what's between our ears, right? And they're also, I think, talking about the toxicity of a city. That can mean Los Angeles, which is where they are from. It could also just be in general life in the 21st century, right? In general, they're noting corruption of society, maybe people being fed poisonous ideas or information that can affect our state of mind and our state of being and help control our actions. We talked on Friday, of the Rush of Fear trilogy and how fear plays a role in the way that we live out our lives, right? The other thing that just sticks, I think, really solidly with this band and this song, there is an overt element of an outside point of view in their music, an outsider point of view. All members of the band have Armenian descent, and they have the benefit, I think, of observations of day-to-day life in quite different cultures. And so this allows them to make conclusions and then statements with their art and their artistry, and allow that those conclusions to hit with an authenticity and pointedness that I think is hard to duplicate. And I really have enjoyed getting into these guys. That's 3 different songs now off of Toxicity that I have heard, and they've all been just bangers. So it's easy to see how these guys were on the upswing and really made a name for themselves, especially in the early 2000s, in that decade, as a new major voice in the metal genre. And I think the songs still have a lot of gravitas and reason for still being listened to and heeded. So it was great to get to Toxicity, the title track from Toxicity, their second album from System of a Down, now over 20 years old and still relevant as ever. And it was amazing to get to this song today. Thanks, y'all, for being with me, and we'll see you next time on another edition of The Daily Doug.